G'day folks. Well, today on this vid I want to talk about the benefits and disadvantages of intercoolers and water methanol. The reason I want to sort of talk about the differences, their strengths and their sort of weaknesses is because, well, I've been there and done it, guys, so I sort of know about it now. Look, I don't pretend to be the guru, so don't look at me as the guru, guys. I'm just passing on information that I've learnt through trial and error. It's all hands-on, so what I say, I'm not just pulling out of the bloody book and reading it to you. I've tried it all, and I do have a good bit of data and feedback, so I can give you my opinion on it all, just to shed a little bit of light on it all, guys. So at the end of the day, you make your own decision, but I just hope that it helps you along your journey, guys. That's what it's all about, because it's a passion that we love. We love our turbochargers. But at the same time we want to learn and we want to gain experience, but we don't want to start messing things up and blowing up engines and costing lots of money. If we're going to make a mistake, guys, we're only going to do it once, and we learn from that. But hopefully, hopefully guys, we don't make a mistake. And that's why I've got this channel, to help you guys along your journey as well. Well, the intercooler, not a bad thing, guys. It's really not a bad thing. But it's got its limitations. You've really got to understand that they are limited. It's ambient air efficient. So I mean, whatever the temperature outside is, it's only going to work as well as that given day. So that's it, plain and simple. It won't, so the thing is, you've still got to run a good fuel for an intercooler. And that becomes your limitation, is your fuel basically. So you can't expect an intercooler to suddenly throw timing in and hope that it's going to, to do the job. It doesn't sort of work like that. All it's really doing in intercooler is pulling heat out of what the turbocharger generates, because the turbo compresses the air, but at that price though, guys, it generates heat. So all this does is pull heat out of it. So at the end of the day, you really still are limited to your fuel, your compression ratio, basically the whole setup that you've put in. And that's sort of where it sort of is. Problem is, if you're going around on a track, 40-degree day, it's not going to be as efficient as it will be on a 15-degree day. So you really can't tune that close or run that close to your tune or the ragged edge of the tune with an intercooler. You have to sort of leave a reasonable margin, guys, because I've actually, when I was running down there a few years ago with the cast heads on, it was a warm day. It was around sort of 30-odd plus degrees. It was bloody hot. I just remember it that day. On about the third lap, power fell away big time, guys. Because, well, I'll get to it in a minute, but because the engine was starting to really suffer in the heat department as well, but the intercooler was, it would only work as good as it did like on that 40-degree day. Not 40, 30-degree day. So it was just getting out of control. So the power really fell away. You could really feel it. So the thing is with turbo, guys, turbocharged engines, making horsepower is easy, but losing it is just as easy as well. So that's the trouble with when you were running pump fuel. The engine increases in temperature, the intercooler's less efficient, and then all of a sudden you've just got a recipe for disaster. Things just start to spiral out of control really quickly. And that's what happens with turbocharging. That point of, and it can happen within a lap. First 2 laps weren't too bad. That third lap, you just notice the temp was starting to climb, reach over 220, and it just started to really, everything just amplified really quick. And that's the problem with a boosted motor. Once you start, temperature starts getting in, it's hard, you can't get rid of it. So you've really got to nip it in the bud and not let it get to that point and then start to get out of control. So that's where the intercooler has only really got a limited benefit, in my opinion, guys. I think these are great on the street. Is a factory setup for a car, because you just plumb them in and forget about it. You don't have to fill up, maintain it or anything basically. It's plug and play. And like I said, it's really your fueling that governs your boost level amongst all the other combination, like I said earlier. So pulling it off, and that has allowed me now to keep this engine so much cooler, guys. It's incredible, because now we're not getting slowed down second-hand heat from this intercooler, because once the air gets through it, it slows right down. It's basically a lot warmer than it was on the front side, and then expecting it to cool down your radiator, it's almost an impossible task, really, in severe conditions. So, and a really 30-degree day, that's not really a severe condition. So it's got its limitations, like I said. Now, weight is another thing too, guys. So that's 8 kilograms. And the trouble is, your front centre line of your wheels are here. You've got a good 2 feet roughly overhanging the front, so we're cantilevering it. So, just because I said it was 8 kilo there, doesn't necessarily mean it's 8 kilo here. It could be 8.5 kilo, that little bit heavier. So you've got all this weight mass over the front. You've got a restriction through for your radiator now. It's only governed by the ambient air, like as efficient as the ambient air. You get a pressure drop too with these things. You see where I'm going with this, guys? It's for an extreme performance application. I really feel they're not for me. Some people run them, and they run big ass ones and all that, but for me, going to the water methanol, and I'll get to that in a second, has been the ultimate, guys. It has really set me free. So, pulling this off, going to the water meth, still run my pump fuel, guys, has allowed me now to go up in boost, whereas it was about 12 pound, would have been the limit, maybe 13, 14 at max, on a cool day. I wouldn't like to be running around 30 degrees, well, I told you that earlier, when it all sort of started to fall away, and it could have easily blew a gasket. So, now with the water methanol, we can go up huge amounts of boost now. We can run up to 20 pound, whatever the turbo is sort of capable of, because now we've got an incredible octane suppressant, which we never had with this. We have an incredible cylinder pulling, or heat pulling out of the cylinders through the water. We've got a higher octane fuel blended in with the pump fuel as well. You see where I'm going with this, guys? All of a sudden, we can go up in boost, we can keep the engine a lot cooler because it's pulling a lot of heat out of the cylinders. It's creating more power through, we can add more timing, we can go up in boost, and it has a cleaning effect. I've showed you the spark plugs, and it's an incredible stuff. So, and it's a closed system. So we're not dependent on weather. That's what I'm getting at, guys. I could sit there and do a crazy burnout now and not worry about having to get air through the front of it. So pulling this off, going to the water methanol, for me, has set me free. And that's what that's why I was so keen on it, guys, when I was talking about it there 12 months ago on the videos. And to actually experience it, it's exceeded my expectation, guys. It really has. The drawback with it is the maintenance side of it. It's a mechanical side, so anything mechanical obviously can fail. So if you're tuned for it, you become sort of dependent on it. You start adding more timing, trimming your carby or your fuel in your carby to compensate for the water meth. Well, it does leave you a little bit more exposed. So you've really got to be mindful of that. But mind you, you can get fail-safes. There are low-level tank indicators to let you know if you're getting low in your tank. I think you can get a sensor. I was talking to someone. There's an alarm I think you can get if the power sort of cuts out to the pump. Obviously it's failed for me, so I'm very lucky I hadn't tuned for it. So you've just got to be mindful of that, guys. You've got to be very mindful. So you've really got to get a good system working well and reliable, because at the end of the day, it's all down to this. It's no different from your fuel system. If your fuel system fails, it's over Red Rover. If this fails, it's the same deal. So it just adds another area of failures, I suppose. But at the end of the day, you pay for a good quality kit, and I probably won't touch the fueling until I'm very confident. Once I set up my own little system with a hob switch and a variable controller, and I'll tell you about that in another vid, guys. I've had one bloke in particular help me, or two, and point him in the right direction with that, but I'll talk about that when that all sort of turns up. But yes, it is incredible stuff, the water methanol, guys. Now that I don't have any restriction in the front, it's a win-win. We're getting incredible cooling now, coupled with the extra cooling in the cylinders and the detonation suppressant, octane enhancement. Wow, couldn't ask for more. This thing here will never do it. It's not designed to do it. It's only designed to pull heat from the turbo. And that heat from the turbo has to go somewhere, guys. So it goes through here. And that's why I've gone to the water meth, and it has set me free. Plain and simple, guys. Alright, my engine machinist, it's another story, guys. He's not prepared to put that bearing in it for me. He reckons it's a waste of time. Yes, it was frustrating. It was frustrating, to say the least. I'm actually going to go and buy another crank, but he still doesn't want to put that bearing in. So I'm going to just think about it. I'm not going to race into it. Like I said, I'll talk to some other people. I don't know if anyone in the state, in Tasmania, will do it for me, but I'm still really keen to do it. I've just got it in me that I want to do this and try and prevent the recurrence of what went on with that line pressure, because I've sort of dived in fairly deep with it, and I've got a fairly good understanding of it all, how it works, but I'll have to do some more thinking, and we'll just work on that one, and hopefully I can find someone that'll, because I know what's going to happen. If I put that stroker back in, line pressure is going to raise up just through the shear torque once it comes on boost. I could put a dump valve in it straight off the gearbox before the transmission cooler, just a pressure valve of 55, 60 pound to dump it back into the side of the sump of the tranny. I could do that, but I really want that thrust bearing in there just for added insurance. But anyway, like I said, I'll talk about it in another video, and we'll go from there on it. Oh yes, another thing guys, there's a private practice coming up this Friday. If the weather's nice, on the 23rd I think, yep, on the 23rd I'm going down. So I'm taking the big girl down. I might just run it around 10 pounds, see if I can just knock a little bit out of it with the boost controller. And we'll go for a run down there, just a little pre-Christmas test, because I want to dial them arms in a little bit more. And I'll actually do a video and show you guys on that too, when I show you guys how I'll dial them in. I just need to nose that diff down just a touch. And yes, I'll put some octane boost in it just to play it a bit safe. That'll bring it up a few little points, make it a little bit more stable. But that's if my water methanol box doesn't turn up. But if it does, I'll leave it and I'll chuck it in and we'll go from there. Alright guys, just a vid, let you know that I'm still here and always thinking turbo guys. Catch you later.